では一番前の
Towards the front, yes, with the black jacket.
You need to have 10 batteries in stock to make the station running.
If you think of how many batteries you need to store, it's the time it takes to charge the battery full divided by the length of time it takes the car to go in and out. So if it takes about a minute to switch and it takes you about a minute to go in and out, it takes about 2 minutes for the full cycle. The battery takes about 20 to 25 minutes to be fully charged. So 20 minutes after a battery came into storage, it's already full to go back into the next car. And so all you need is a rotational storage that basically makes these batteries go, charge, come back. Let's move here if there are any questions on this side. There's some in the back.
では一番後ろの
Yes, towards the back. My name is Yamamoto from Asahi. I have two questions. In the city of Yokohama, how many stations and charge spots are you going to install in Yokohama? And for taxis, if you focus on the taxi segment, have you already contacted the taxi industry in Japan?
We've had some conversations with a variety of different taxi company. Fuji-san, would you like to?
では藤井社長お願いします。
Mr. Fuji, please. So it's about Japan, so maybe I can take up that question. This time, well, the charge spot for the demonstration is only here in Yokohama, only here. But for the taxis, the taxi association of major cities, well, there are multiple, and we have already had contact, and we're proceeding with discussions with major taxi associations of major cities. Does that answer your question? So in that case, in the future in Japan, what scale do you have in mind? So for success, how many charge spots or how many facilities would be required? Well, are you limiting yourselves to taxis or in general? Well, switch stations and charge spots. How many do you want to see in Japan?
Israel, as an example, Israel and Denmark would have about 100 of these switch stations for the whole country. And we will start with somewhere around 100,000 of the small spots you will see outside before the cars show up. And that's about enough to create a sense that everywhere you go, you are covered. In other words, within a distance of about 25, 30 kilometers of every road you will drive, you will find a switch station, and everywhere you would park, every city, every location, every home work location, you would have a place to charge. Now, that's, in a sense, the magnitude. Unfortunately, Israel and Denmark are both small, so the size of the country is almost like the size of one urban area. So Israel would be almost similar to what you would see in Yokohama or what you would see in Tokyo. That's roughly the size of infrastructure required to cover that kind of an urban center. And then across the freeways between these urban centers, you would need a station every 30 to 40 kilometers. We'll take two more questions, and then we'll go outside. We'll then return back here, and you can see more of it as we come back to the ceremony.
My name is Hirano from TV Asahi. The charging infrastructure for plug-in type, those are available in Japan. Various companies have that, but the switchable battery type, the cars have to be available first for the switchable battery type electric vehicles. Do the car manufacturers have a plan to make and sell these kinds of switchable battery electric vehicles?
Renault and Nissan are both making these kinds of cars. And there's always a question of what comes first, the car or the infrastructure. And in this case, I believe the infrastructure has to be there first before you can sell the cars. Much like if you went to NTT Docomo and they told you to buy a cell phone, but there was no cell phone towers for these phones, nobody will buy the phone. So the main issue here, and that's why we're dependent somewhat on the government, is the acceptance of the government to allow us to come and put this kind of infrastructure in place, after which Nissan can decide whether it's providing these cars for the Japanese market.
わかります。 充電インフラについて
We understand, but for charging, you have two types. So the plug-in infrastructure you'll be doing as well, and the switching infrastructure you also need. So you need two types. But cars for the switching station, does Renault have plans to manufacture that type of a car?
Renault and Nissan are making these cars for Israel. This is part of our partnership. They're making these cars available in Israel and Denmark, where we have already committed to putting these networks in place across the country with the exchangeable battery. We have to wait for them to announce them. You got to respect their timelines. There's a tradition in the car industry. You don't show a car too early. It's like you don't show a bride too early, otherwise it won't get married. So it's one of those things you do, and we have to respect their timeline. But I'm sure that if there was demand in other countries, such as Japan, we have a good case for convincing Nissan together that it's a good market to come in. Thank you. Last question. Last two questions.